Welcome to my channel. It's funny, I just had a couple of riders come by that recognized me from my channel and we chatted for a little bit. So redoing my intro here. So yeah, I decided today that I'm gonna ride the Ramblas. There we go. Popped it over. I know a few of you have been asking about this, and I've been all about the Surly Sorceress lately. But here we go, another hardtail, except this is an e-bike. And I set this up with different handlebars and fork and different wheels so I can run it mullet. So if you notice, 29-inch front, 27.5 rear. This is a small, and somebody told me they don't make the small anymore. And when I got this, it came with 27.5 front and rear. So it's set up for 27.5. So I like that. So we're gonna go hit the trails here and see how this bike rides. I'm at Theodore Worth, and we start out with a climb, but I have these Magic Mary front. It's a gravity on the rear. These are the tires that originally came on my Santa Cruz Vala when I bought it, and I since switched to the Maxxis tires. I think I have an Assegai on the front and a DHR2 or something on the rear, something like that. I don't remember, but and that's also mixed wheel, 29, 27.5. So I'm curious to know how these tires ride, because these are radials, and everybody's been talking about radials lately. So we'll see. They're ultra soft. They're definitely overkill for a trail like Theodore Worth. I mean, these are like super aggressive, you know, out west riding gnarly shit tires. So we'll see how they ride here. Let's go hit the trail. I am in eco mode right now, and it seems to give plenty of power, and the eco mode here isn't even set to do the full 100 Newton meters of torque, but like that little up I usually do on my regular bike, it's quite a bit of effort, and this thing I just went right up it in eco mode. This Ramblas motor seems very different than the Bosch CX Gen 5 on my Vala. This fork is so nice. Look, EVO fork. I've had it for a while. Man. Alright, and so today I'm technically in recovery mode because I rode 2 days in a row on my regular bike. Alright, let's continue this climb. It's super windy today. Alright, I'm gonna do the drop here. Oh, this bike's heavy. That's the thing. Bike is really heavy, and you can hear the rattle. So yes, people have been asking about that. This motor rattles. In the last Ramblas I had last year, which was a medium, also rattled. So I put it in trail mode, which does, I have it set up to do the full 100 Newton meters of torque. And I mean, because this is a recovery ride, this is what I should be doing, because then I'm not putting in hardly any effort. But it's kind of silly, like it makes me giggle, because when I pedal I just get this surge of power. I had to detune kind of the initial surge of power on it. There's like 3 settings. I'll try to explain those in the app here in a minute. This bike, one of the things that's very different about this bike is that it's got a long rear end, 465 millimeter chainstay, which is huge. But because I set it up mullet, and in this case, because it was 27.5, I brought up the front end and then I put taller handlebars in it. It makes it ride a little better for off-road because it's not as hard to pull up the front end. So it's offsetting that super long back end. They're rough berms, but it doesn't bother me being on a hardtail. So it just, the fork's plush, my legs can take care of the rest. So here's kind of a bigger, longer, sustained climb. And just like, I'm not used to having that much power on the climb, so it's like I don't steer properly. I almost gone off the trail twice. This is kind of more dry, hard pack. So well, I guess they're alright. I'm not quite sure how the tires are going to be on it. I can definitely tell the weight when I hit the jump. It is not nearly as agile and maneuverable as, say, my Surly Sorceress. Of course, weighs just over 30 pounds versus, what is this, 55 pounds, something crazy like that. So my worry here is that it's hard for me to judge speed. I'm going faster, especially on flats and uphill, than I would normally go, so my judgment has to be very different. So I'm being a little careful in that sense, because I am on pretty tight single track. So jumping, it wants to, like, the front end wants to dive, and that's partially due to the longer rear end and me not being used to it. What that probably means is that I gotta pull harder on the front end, you know, and keep that pressure longer to keep the front end up, and push up with my legs. Yeah, like this stuff is so, like, piece of cake. So we'll see how that changes here. So I ride this more and see if I adjust. Okay, so I'm gonna do the dump loop with this thing, which is technical and tight. We'll see how it handles it. That was kind of a test of the tires. Oh gosh, I'm misjudging the speed. so easy to do because the power boost of this thing. Ooh, all right, here's the technical. One of the reasons I call this a great commuter bike, but not the greatest mountain bike. Yes, I've improved it drastically from its stock form, so it's a better mountain bike now. But you know, the long rear end kind of just takes its agility away, and then it's the weight. So like, hopefully in the future, you know, there's a company that just came out with semi-solid state batteries, and then maybe solid state batteries will solve this weight issue with the batteries, because that's the bulk of the weight here. Sure, the motor adds some weight and whatever, but like, this thing is just massively heavy. Like, right? And then you get the longer rear end, so it's just not very agile, you know. And I'd like my bike to have a lot of agility to it, but it feels a lot better in this Mullet configuration, and with a better fork and better bars, higher front end, all of that. But it's far from being as good as riding, say, my Santa Cruz Vala, which is full suspension, of course, or even my non-e-bike hardtails, like my Haro Saguaro and my Surly Sorceress. Like, I would much rather ride those and just do the work, because they're just more fun. Like, this makes me giggle because of its power, but it's not making me giggle because of how it rides technical sections like what I just did. So we got the infamous rock garden climb coming up. So I'm curious how this will go up it. I have a feeling, even though I have this like all this power, I think the tires, because they're these super soft or whatever they call them, will do wonders up that climb. And so I think I'm predicting the future. We'll find out once I get there. Well, that was sketchy. It's like bouncing all over the place, but like I said, the power of the bike just overcomes the sketchiness part. And those rocks are getting pretty slippery. We haven't had rain in a while. Here's another part where, oh, wow, it's tight, but you know, it's doable. It just isn't as snappy and controlled. And yes, I have to give these tires credit. Now that I'm starting to trust them more. But I still have this problem where I'm going faster than I think I'm going, and I tend to overcook the corner. I'm not picking very good lines, and that's just something, you know, like there I was too far outside. There's that log, so I had to correct. But that's just me not used to like pedaling and getting this, like it lurches forward, and I think I can play with that in the settings, because a bit much. It's like you want to know what turbo is like. We'll try that on the next climb just for shits and giggles. Here's a climb. I'm gonna pop this up into turbo and then go. Oh, I'm in a bad gear though. Oh boy. There we go. Oh my god. Might as well just have a motorcycle. I definitely feel like this bike would be a lot more at home on a more wide open groom trail, and even going a little faster. Like, it's not great at the slower speed, tighter technical stuff, but I have a feeling, because when I do get up to some speed, it starts to come into place. Especially, oh my god, like, I just pedaled. Oh. Like, as soon as I get up to speed, I gotta slow down, because this trail is too tight. Rock garden. Nice. Oh, these tires are great on rocks. I'll tell you that right now. I'm sure that's what they're designed for. So here, I'm gonna really focus, stop talking, and show you that if I focus on the ride, I can actually handle this tighter single track. Alright, I gotta show you. Here we go. I am going uphill right now. Crazy. Okay, so this section here is very tight, but I feel like I'm adjusting to this bike. So we'll see how I do. I think I'll probably be fine. Hopes that the SRAM DB8 brakes work really good, because I definitely need them. Yeah, yes. Railing through here. There's a lot of trees around to keep you honest, I guess. Oh, these tires, man, they work really, really, really good. Wow. If you lean the bike properly, they bite. Tight here, technical, and then we got a little rock armor downhill here. These tires are amazing, and we'll see how it handles its burns. It's kind of a little bit of loose over hard there. God, I don't know why I pedaled. I just put Oh. Wow. Alright, so this climb, I'm usually just grinding up and wearing me out. There I'm like sliding in the turn because I'm going faster than I normally would be going. Yeah. So that's the fun part, right? Like this big, long, sustained climb doesn't feel like a big, long, sustained climb. Granted, not getting much of a workout. Normally my heart rate would be way up and I would be breathing super heavy, but that is not the case right now. So again, we're near the end of this ride, which is a super long sustained climb, which is this one, which again, usually by the time I'm to the top, I'm all worn out. Of course I'm giggling, this is ridiculous. Alright, now we're at the downhill already. Probably gonna hear a lot of rattling from that motor. Oh, I cased a little bit, but I feel like it bottomed out. I don't know if I have enough air in the rear now. I think I did like 24 psi. That was a harsh sounding case. I barely cased too. Okay, so here it is. I feel like I've drastically improved it by putting this fork on it. 140 millimeter. And this fork's like 4 some years old, but the Sapphire D1 DVO fork is super nice. And you know, I upgraded the bars to these Atlas bars, so higher rise bars, a little bit taller front end, and then mixed wheels, so 29 front, 27.5 rear. So definitely improved how the bike rides. Is it perfect? Is it ideal? No. If I could suggest improvements on this, I'd start with a shorter chainstay, because this chainstay is like ridiculously long. Here's your spindle, right? And you have that much space. Like there's just a lot going on there. They could easily figure out a way to shorten those chainstays, especially as the bike gets smaller. But apparently they don't make a small anymore, which is also kind of ridiculous. But they must not really be trying to market this as a mountain bike. And now they have a full suspension bike out, so they probably will push that and not really care about these very, very much anymore. But the tires make a huge difference. Like these compared to those Recons, and they're not even like the good Recons. They were like the base wire bead Recons that don't have the dual compound or anything. These tires, the tires are amazing. I'm quite impressed with the tires. Great on an e-bike. They're heavy, but that doesn't matter so much on an e-bike. I'd hate to ride these tires on a regular bike unless I was doing downhill. I mean, this is the gravity tire, right? Like, so yeah, it's okay. I probably don't recommend this. I mean, this was almost $3,000, and then another you know, if you think of the upgrading the wheels and the fork and the bars, you're looking at another at least $1,500. So you're looking at a $4,500 bike, And by that price point, you might as well upgrade to something else, right? So, but it's a fun experiment. I'm enjoying it, having a good time. It's definitely, in my opinion, overpowered. The power wars with e-bikes have gotten a little out of control. Like, e-bikes don't need as much power as they have now. Like this 100 newton meters is more than enough. They used to only have 85, and 85 newton meters is plenty of torque. 750 watts, 85 newton meters is like that sweet spot. I don't get like how we as a society are always have to have more power, right? Like that's just the mentality. And I saw one of those RE Nebo Peaks today. A woman was riding it, and that's like one of those mid power. I think it's either 50 newton meters or 60 newton meters, but it's a lighter weight system. Takes less juice, so it can run a smaller battery, so the bike doesn't weigh, 50 or 55 pounds. That, in my opinion, is the way to go for e-bikes. But I don't know. Now this Aventon or whatever, the DJI one, is like 150 newton meters. Like, that's just insane. It really is. Anyway, that's my rant about e-bikes right now. But the bike industry is in a very interesting place. More powerful e-bikes and 32-inch wheels or whatever they're doing now. This is plenty fun right here. Anyway, now I'm just rambling and ranting and the wind is blowing. I appreciate your support for my channel. Please like and subscribe. Peace.